Good evening, beautiful people. Can you hear me? Always got to do that sound check before I turn on this camera. Happy Sunday. Throw me a thumbs up if you can hear me clearly. And I am going to turn off this music. I do this, and yep, I'm getting the thumbs up. Your Majesty Apple Blossom, thank you for being here. T.E. Dennis, thank you for being here. Maya Youngster, thank you for being here. Maya Youngster, I owe you a message. Damn it. Hi. Hello. 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 We are live. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Twitch. To the collective, hello. How is everybody doing? Let me see if I can get this off the screen and on. And hello, and here we are, and we're gonna hope that everything goes well. I think I have a lag, a little lag, but we're not restarting the stream. So, happy Sunday. Am I loud enough? Do I need to be louder? Let me know if I am okay or if I need to be louder. I don't have my headphones plugged in to hear how I sound today. DH Lady, welcome in. Hello, DH Lady. Long time no see. Hope you're keeping well. How's everybody's weekend been? Relaxed mood. Hello, beautiful soul. Hello, 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 hello. Today we are going to, I know, like, yeah. Today we're going to talk about release and letting it go. I hope everybody's new year has been off to a good start. I was here already for the new year, but I think a lot of others weren't. So it feels like I have to do the whole Happy New Year thing all over again. So to those who have not talked to, whether by message or post or liking or something, or in a stream in a Twitch street somewhere, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I'm hoping that all of you are having a blessed new year so far. And it is off to a good start. Somebody else just slipped in here. Who just snuck in? Miriam. Happy Sunday, Miriam. Thank you for being here. So how is everybody doing? I need interaction today. I cannot be the only one with thoughts. I need to know that you guys also have thoughts. I'm going to hope that my connection stays clear. I literally hardwired into my PC today just to make sure there's no glitches. I've changed the camera. So hopefully today will be a smooth stream. That's what we're going to go with. So today we're going to talk about releasing and letting go. You need an extra day for the weekend. Me too. And you're good today, my youngster. That's good. It's nice. Like, we got some snow here over the last 24 hours, give or take. Nothing heavy. I don't even know if people had to like take out shovels and stuff like that. Where I am, it wasn't heavy. But it's mild. Like, I did a quick run to the grocery store just now, and it is really, really mild, pleasantly mild for January in winter in Canada. So I'm happy. I have been on vacation since December the 21st, and I have been away on vacation on my daughter's couch pretty much the entire time that I've been off. So shout out to Simply Patty, now known as Cosmic Lab, who is currently streaming, I believe, doing a co-streaming, co-working stream with her community. She has graciously allowed me, tolerated me, accepted me, something. And I've pretty much spent every single day on her couch. Like, I've moved around and I've done some stuff, but I would say that I haven't seen my bed in definitely over a week and a half to 2 weeks. Yeah, that's where I'm at right about now. Yeah, the fluctuation of temperature. This is where we all get sick though, right? Because we get into this, you put on too many layers, you start sweating like crazy. You don't put on enough layers and you start freezing. You're out in the day, the temperature is mild, it drops at night, and then, yeah. Like, I still have a cough that comes and goes. I'm chugging water like crazy and still, like, I just want it to be over. But I know I keep hearing a lot of people have been getting sick. So before we dive into topic, I'm glad everybody's having a good weekend and the new year is off to a good start. Maya Youngster, if you're not already doing so, please be sure to give her a follow. Mondays and Thursdays at 10 p.m. Maya Youngster, I owe you a message. I know, I know, I know. T.E. Dennis will be streaming here on Twitch and a few other platforms. If you're not already doing so, please be sure to give her a follow. Who else? Did I miss anybody else that is a streamer? Myself, please follow me. Thank you. I am here on Twitch. I am on YouTube. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Spotify. Let me do this while I'm at it. Let me look at that. The timer came up right in time. Wow. Man, Apple, you can put your feet up and relax a bit because this thing is doing some work to help both of us out, eh? Look at that. So for those of you who don't already know, and I have to do a post so people know to go find me there. Toonie, welcome in, beautiful soul. For those of you who don't already know, I've officially launched a podcast. It is on Apple Podcasts and it is on Spotify. I keep forgetting to advertise the Apple part, so I have to do better. But it is on Spotify and it is on Apple Podcasts. I know I mentioned it when I was in conversation here with the JYs, and I want to make sure that I'm putting it on screen. Take a listen. Let me hydrate before somebody throws me some channel points. Thank you for the resub. See, I don't even see those things. Thank you for the resub, Toonie. Thank you. Thank you for staying with the collective. Let me hydrate. So, for those of you who don't already know, yes, I have officially done the podcast. It is a weekly. Let me take this page off and put my face back on the screen. So it's called Soul Bites. It's your weekly snack with Tap. I'm pretty sure you're going to get more than a weekly session. My brain is always in thoughts. And it's short. I'm not planning to do long sessions at the moment. There might be one or two I might throw in there. It really is just a lot of what we are doing here. It's formalizing it a little bit and putting it out there to the world. And as I say in my post, it's to stimulate thought. Right? When I do these, we're here as a conversation, we're bonding together, we're sharing, we have like-mindedness or growth or nurturing of self that we're working on in various parts of our journey. And I really want to expand on that and bring it out to the world. So we are live streaming right now on Twitch. We're live streaming right now on YouTube. I have the podcast. I think a new one will go up. It should have been earlier today, but I didn't like how it sounded. So it will probably be tomorrow. I've been recording these on a couch. I should just change it to, podcast, and it's called On the Couch with Tap, because that's what it feels like. So we'll see. But if you take a listen, please let me know what you think. Drop me some comments. Do me the honors and let me know if you're finding it helpful. And it really is to just, Apple, stimulate thought, right? Yeah. Everybody has their goal with their podcast or when they turn on a stream or when they're talking to people. I really want to know that I'm provoking thought. I was going to say instigating thought, but instigating seems to have such a negative connotation to it. So I didn't want to put that out there, but really that's what it is, right? You may be thinking of things, you may not be thinking of things. The conversation may spark something. Perfect if it does. Even better if you action it or if you stop actioning it, whatever it does for you, right? That's the most important piece. So let me say a few hellos and then I'm going to do a final plug of stuff. I'm trying to think what else is coming up that I need to mention. I will not be here on Wednesday. I have a personal engagement, so I will not be here. So we're going to do this today. We're going to chat for a bit. And then I think I'm back next week, Sunday. In between that, I'll try to make sure that I'm dropping a session or two on my podcast. Check it out there. Follow me on Instagram. I'm always having a conversation out there, again, to stimulate thought. A lot of the posts, when you see them, I'm pretty sure now that I've said this, you'll start to realize that I'm trying to get things to resonate with myself and with other people. And I find it is helpful. To those of you who message me on the side, thank you. I appreciate you. And share, right? Put it out there, share it to the world, share it to your friends, share it to your family. If you find that it's helpful to you, it may be helpful to other people. And I'm not going to just limit this to women, but other people within your tribe, your circle, your bubble, your own collective, right? So let me scroll and see. Relaxed Mood, Toonie Scenari, Apple Blossom, T.E. Dennis, Maya Youngster, DH Lady. So DH Lady and I got a chance to actually connect, and I'm going to out myself because I actually didn't think I was going to show up. And DH is probably like, say what now? Like you were late, but not that I was showing up late on purpose, because that's, good old construction on Eglinton. Those of you in Toronto would know exactly what I'm talking about when I say Eglinton is continuously in construction and I live off of Eglinton. Um, I've become a hermit. Some will say I've become a recluse. I am outside, and my outside is here with you, the collective. So anytime I'm to get together with people, a lot of times there's something that comes up, or I'm just not feeling well. And I actually wasn't feeling well when we were originally supposed to connect. Um, and then, Friday, I was excited. I was really excited to see her. I haven't seen her in almost a year. Wow, it's been that long. That's bad. So I haven't seen her in almost a year. We've been talking about getting together to sit down and share a meal and just vibe and just rock out. And as the hours got closer and I woke up from my nap, I started to get nervous. And it wasn't that I was nervous about sitting with DH, because I really do appreciate time with her. It just felt like I haven't really been a people person, like in public for so long. So I wasn't sure, like, do I still have the right mannerisms to be out in public? I survived, she's comfortable in doing it again, so which is good. But it's just one of those moments where you kind of sit there and you're just, you take stock of where you are. And I've been doing that a lot lately. You guys hear me talk about it a lot lately. And I had to just throw caution to the wind, throw myself together and just step out. And I had a really good time. The restaurant we went to, it was memorable, but we had a good time, and I'm definitely looking forward to doing it again. So when I talk about um, release and let go, it ties into so many different areas of our lives. And I'm curious to know, how do you, when I say release and let go, what stimulates your mind? What resonates with you when I throw those words on here on the screen? And I'm just going to take them off again and put myself back on again. Because it could be anything, right? For me, I've talked about it in the podcast. I've talked about it in my posts. 2024 for me is refinement, right? Wasn't lost to be found. It's refinement. It's really working on myself, and it's not working on myself to be somebody else. It's just working on myself to be more refined, right? You just talked about letting go. Yeah, yeah. This topic, relaxed mood, was supposed to come up 3 months ago, if not longer. And I didn't feel it was time yet, because as I'm still unpacking in my own journey, I thought it was a good idea to allow other people to unpack. And sometimes we don't know what we're letting go. And until you really do that internal research on life, you don't really know what you're letting go of or what you should let go of. Some things aren't really always that clear, right? I know for me, hate to say it, there's a lot of things that have not been that clear that I really need to let go of. I've been holding on to. And then that question is, like, why are we holding on to it, right? Like, what is that? What is the reason? Is it there's some nostalgia there? Is there like, is it like the safety blanket? You feel like you can't let go of it. So there's always those type of feelings about releasing and letting go of things. But I always say that if you do not let go, and I've said this in the past too, when I'm talking with Patty or other people, if you don't get rid of things, there's no way for you to allow for the space to be there for new things to arrive. And I usually do that when I'm talking about my closet, right? So, I'm holding on to the pair of jeans and the sweater and the whatever, and it's a little ratty and, it's a little balled up or whatever, but it's got that comfy feeling or it's got that nostalgia to it. So you keep holding on to it. When if I get rid of it, it allows me to justify, right, going shopping and buying, 2 more sweaters and, cozy stuff and jogging pants and jeans or whatever. But if you don't release and give yourself space to allow for new things to come in, how do the new things actually come in, right? You need to start with your closet. Yeah, I want to post because I saw this right now. So freedom and peace. And I have a fan going behind me and it's useless. Like, I'm just like, okay, all right. Um, freedom and peace. Yeah, yeah. Is that you doing your behind my smile, which I have not done yet for the year? Here with you, actually. My youngster, I want to read your comment here. I had to do that this weekend. Six Boss helped me to realize that I have to allow for emotions and feelings to flow. Yeah, yeah. And it's the same thing. Like, even, you're harboring on the feelings that you had with the boy, the girl, the partner, and it's it's not even necessarily that it's a bad feeling, but is it preventing you from moving forward, right? I tell you, from I got sick the other day, I have not been able to shake the stupid cough that comes up. Let me see if I can mute. Okay, let's try that again. So, sorry about that. Whoops. Let me not hit the desk. You heard it? Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah. And of course, now my eyes are watering. So, there'll be a lot of chugging of water happening today. Relaxed mood. I want to pin that. It's a problem when you can't move on. It is. It is. It is. It's hard, right? Like it really is. I apologize for the clearing of throat that's going to happen here. There have been times in my life, I had to think about how I wanted to word this. So there's been times in my life where I'm really aware. I'm really aware. I need to let this go. And whether it's the sweater, the feelings about the boy, the anger argument that I had with somebody that I don't even talk to anymore, or that we've moved on and we're still friends, but that I'm still holding on to that thing from whenever that thing happened. Everything in my brain says, let it go. But for whatever reason, I'm still clinging on to it. And it's almost like it needs to be what's the word? I don't want to say the bridge or it's almost like it is almost like a safety blanket, right? If I don't let go of, and then I can hold on to, and then I can stay in that state to justify why I'm feeling how I'm feeling. But really and truly, it is a problem when you can't move on, because the same thing applies with when I talked about the jeans and the sweater, right? If you don't get rid of whatever it is that's holding you back, how do you move forward? And I know a lot of us, myself included, get stuck into those moments where you can't let go and you can't understand why you can't let go. And lately, I've been trying to figure out the things that I feel stuck on. I'm really trying to unpack it. And that's not easy. It's not easy at all, right? For me, it's like I need to hold on to this so that it won't happen again, being aware. Yeah. You can hold on and it can scare you from moving forward, right? Because you're just like, well, been there, done that. So if I hold on to this, anything else that comes along, I'll be like, nah, just had this, don't need that. And that just had this could have been 5 years ago or longer. But it just makes it easy for you to prevent moving forward. Um, but in some ways, you do just need to just like get over it and move forward. And when I say get over it, not just like throw it caution to the wind and just like take a leap, right? Unless you feel that that's what you need to do. But I do feel that there's a lot of times when hmm, there's a lot of times when we hold on and we can justify why we're holding on. And even the fact that you're going to justify why you're holding on, it's it's pretty it's I'm going to say for myself, right? Because I'm not judging anybody else out there, but um it's pretty sad when I have to justify why I'm holding on, because then it's just like, well, if you could justify why you're holding on, you can justify why it's time to let it go and move forward, right? So we are now in 2024. It's official. I spent the last couple of weeks of 2023 reminding everybody to just enjoy the days that you have while you have them. Like, don't get into being into such a rush to get to 2024. And I think, let me hydrate. Yeah. I think for me now that I'm in 2024, and I mentioned it in the podcast, as I'm watching, the Instagram post and the conversations and just the vibe and the energy, everybody's in this new year, new me. No, still tap. Sorry, I'm gonna refine myself, but I'm still tap. Um, I have all these goals. I've left all of this behind in 2023 and da da da. Did you though? Like, are you sure you left it all behind in 2023? And is it really that bad of a thing if you bring it into 2024 and get rid of it properly? And then for 2024, the reason why I wanted to talk about release and let go is because as we're rushing to move forward, are we really letting go to allow us to move forward? And I'm going to say move forward, but at the right pace, right? Because everybody's looking at their New Year's resolutions, their intentions, their goals, whatever you want to call it for 2024. We all have them, right? I don't call them New Year's resolutions, but I do have a set of goals and plans that I would like to execute in 2024, right? But even for myself, I've had to take that moment, and I'm saying it a lot lately, to take a moment, right? It's no longer just what's behind my smile and what's behind yours. It really is taking a moment and just figuring out what really has to happen next. What really should be that next step. I'm trying to get 10 steps ahead, but I have like 9 steps that I really need to do before. And how do I actually accomplish those? And do those 9 steps have to happen within the first 31 days of 2024? Probably not, most likely not. So we keep putting ourselves through this cycle, and it just seems to be unhealthy, right? I'm just going to pause because I'm seeing some comments here that's definitely catching my eye. Um, I know I have to let go when I no longer have any emotions to or for it. That's good. That's good. That's good. See, for me, I can let go and still have the emotions, but the emotions don't carry the same weight. Um, and I can look back at the moments and smile, or I can look back at the moments and be okay that we've gone as far as we needed to go on the situation, and it's resolved. There's no picking up a phone and talking about the matter again, or the argument has not continued. We're now really moving forward. Those kind of things are things that I think are important. So I'm okay with carrying the emotion as long as the emotion isn't driving me or preventing me from moving forward. Facts, that was part of the process too, justifying why I need to let go instead of why to hold on. I journaled for 3 hours. Yeah, yeah. And as I say that, I talked about it the other day, and I think my next post is gonna elaborate on it. I want to go a page that hopefully is not even legible. Like, I've been brain dumping, right? Like, I've got pages of brain dumping, and a lot of that is where the topic for today came from, right? I'm writing some things down, and yeah, it is, cleaning the toilet, the typical task and chores that you do, as well as, logging the this and launching the that. I don't want to say what the this and that is just yet. That's coming. Um, finishing some legal paperwork that I need to address and deal with, and going back to the job. I've been off. I go back to the job on Tuesday, and there's a lot of stuff I need to let go of in 2023 to be ready for 2024, where my career is right now. And I have a team that reports to me, so I need to mentally be ready for it. And I think a lot of times, again, like, we're so busy holding on that we don't realize that you do need to move forward. And the moving forward doesn't even have to be drastic, right? Like, it really can be just small, simple steps, just simple, easy going. I'm just gonna scroll. Something else I saw, and I wanted to ask that question too. Thank you, Apple. So after the 3 hours, my youngster, if you want to share, and if you did already, I'm gonna find your comment. How did it feel? Like, I know when I write down and I do my brain dump, and I do it in sessions and seasons and whatever type of cycles, right? But to do this one now, this feels really different from any of the ones I've done before. So journaling for 3 hours. Um, I felt so much better. I was able to move forward, went to bed with a clear mind. That clear mind thing, when you can sleep and I'm just going to say drool on the pillow. You don't have to actually drool on the pillow, don't worry. But just that feeling where you can sleep and you sleep sound. You don't feel like there's anything stirring within that is having you have restless sleep. You don't wake up in the morning and you feel that resurgence of anxiety or angst or whatever on all of what you were thinking of because you've actually let it out on a page, right? Toonie, sorry. Generational family trauma. I'm in the 5th decade, but it's taken this long to fully understand it. Yeah. You know, the generational family stuff. Wow, that hit home for me right about now. Um, it's not easy. It's not easy. Sorry, my brain just went, and I was just like, do I want to? Don't I want to? But it's necessary. And we have to break the cycle. I've had some generational family stuff, and I'm not perfect. And I take accountability as I'm learning. Sometimes I need to take more accountability or less accountability. But what I have noticed is that if we don't do what we need to do to break the cycle for us, that generational trauma just continues. And the story can still continue. It could just exclude you out of it if you're able to. And for me, to exclude myself out of it. And I thought physically removing myself was sufficient, but it actually wasn't enough. So I had to do a few extra steps to make sure that I have put access and boundaries in place to protect myself, my sanity, my soul health, my self-care, to continue moving forward in the way that brings me love and light and joy. Like really, you throw those words around and they sound fluffy, but when you truly feel them inside, it really drives you to continue to try to figure out, I want more of that. How do I get more of that? And the getting of more of that it's really letting go of a lot of the things that you can't control, a lot of things that really do not matter to you at this point in your life. And sometimes you have to analyze and realize it really doesn't matter anymore, in order to let go, to continue finding that joy, to be able to sleep at night, like my youngster talked about after journaling for 3 hours, right? Let me scroll and see if I can find some more comments. I'm sorry. Um, yeah, there's a lot of, yeah, that generational, yeah, yeah. I struggled thinking I needed it to happen immediately, but learned or finally accepted that I will naturally release with time. Give myself grace. Yeah. And it's something, that word grace is a common word I'm finding. I hear a lot of people talk about allowing yourself and giving yourself. Um, you know, as long as we really understand what grace actually is, like what does it feel like and what are you actually doing for yourself? It's okay to put the word out there. Same with self-care, right? We all talk about, oh yeah, I'm on the self-care journey. What does that look like for you? What does it really mean to you? Like, have you been able to define it for you, right? So what grace looks like for me will look very different from what grace looks like for T.E. Dennis. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, as long as we're doing what we need to do to allow us grace as we go through the journey, right? And same for anybody else in the chat. But grace is the key word. Yeah. And if you're holding on to something, and I'm throwing this out there right now because I'm still holding on to a few things here or there, right? Human. If you're holding on to something and you're not entirely ready to let it go, that's okay. Don't beat yourself up about it. Don't feel like you need to rush and do it. It's 2024. I have all these goals on the page. Now I'm just going to cut and let go of everything. As T.E. Dennis, right? Like you let go of it in your own time, in your own space and at your own pace. And that's the most important thing. The fact is that you recognize it and you're doing it. And as you do it, something else will pop up and something else will pop up and something else will pop up, right? So you just keep going through that journey. But for me, when I'm talking about releasing and letting go, it is the historical stuff that doesn't need to be with me anymore. The people that are no longer permitted to sit beside me on my journey. And I wish them all the best. There's nothing negative about it. Just realize that their journey and mine don't necessarily align. And they would be more fruitful. I would be more fruitful if we are riding in our own journeys in our own bus, right? As opposed to trying to support each other and cram each other together, because you're actually holding each other back. Releasing fear of failure, fear of success. Letting go of doubt. I always say life is unscripted. These streams are unscripted. And as I'm talking and as I'm going through a few things that have happened over the last 24, 72 hours, it's really reminded me how important it is to take a moment and not always be quick to respond to something, and to just do a check and pulse on where you are, right? So we are now in 2024. And I'm looking at the time. We're going to wrap this up maybe soon. I like what you said here, Apple. Let me put this on the screen. I always say you will know when you hit rock bottom. Trust me. Whoo. And sometimes when you think you've hit rock bottom, something else will come up and you realize, nah, you're still going. There's a post, and if I can remember who put it out there, I would definitely repost it. But it's somebody saying that this is a Wednesday and they're going down a cliff. It's from a movie. I don't even know what movie it is. They're going down a cliff and they're holding onto branches and whatever, and they're just tumbling. They think that they're safe and they're good. And then that branch they're holding onto breaks and they tumble again. Now at the very end of it, they land on their feet. So you're going to land at your feet. But sometimes when you're in that rock bottom state, it is the hardest state to be in. You got Toonie. Miriam, yes, you can hit rock bottom more than once. You absolutely can. I will share a story with you. Let me just go back to Tooney's comment, and then I'm going to come back to that. I do feel like when I'm going against, I do feel like I'm going against the clock. Want to make peace with my father. He's 86, and time is not our time. Yeah. Sometimes, wow, that one hit me just now. Um, sometimes we don't always get to make peace the way we want to make peace. Um, yeah. This one's hitting actually really, really hard. Um, there is something about the elders in our family, right? We talk about generational trauma. It's hard for us at wherever we are in our lives, right? To, it's hard for us to accept sometimes that our elders are set in their ways and not willing to listen to us younger folk, right? We are younger than them, and understand where we are coming from on certain views or thoughts um, that prevent us from continuing to grow together. And the hardest thing I will say is when you have an elder that you are not able to communicate with, heal with, it becomes increasingly hard to release and let go, because you're thinking, what else can I do? Because, to me, I'm always on a respect elders thing, right? There's elders in the family, and I feel that they sit with a bunch of wealth and knowledge, but I do believe that they're also capable of learning. This is not, you can't teach an old dog new tricks nonsense, right? It doesn't matter how old you are. You can always learn something new. You can always grow no matter how old you are. But for some reason, some of our elders are so stuck in their ways that they're incapable of seeing that, some conversations are necessary, not always pleasant, but you got to go through it. And I always say the only way out is through, right? um so I'm going to pause there for a second because I want to go back to Tasha BG. Welcome in, my keep it or delete it sister. Thank you for joining us. We're talking about releasing and letting go. Let me put this up quickly while I hydrate and collect my thoughts. Yeah. So Miriam, you asked earlier about hitting rock bottom more than once. And rock bottom doesn't always mean like, you're homeless, you're jobless, you're, relationshipless, whatever. Like, it doesn't mean that, for me anyways, right? You do have to just keep trying. And there's something else you posted, so I want to catch that. Is it that you might have expectations when you're looking for peace, and that could be blocking actual peace? Yeah, and you know why? Because of the word you put in there, expectations. We all do it, right? Whether we say expectations or requirements, it's the same thing at the end of the day. It just, one sounds nicer than the other, right? You have a view and an opinion of what you think your peace should look like, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But sometimes the powers that be, religious or not, I don't want to step on people's religious toes or anything, right? The higher power could be putting you in a position to tell you that I understand that this is what peace looks like to you, but this is actually what peace really should look like to you. And it's going to be a little bit rocky before you're going to be able to get there, but you got to trust and believe you're going to get there. And that's why I'm always posting the keep going. Like, I'm always trying to throw those words somewhere, keep going, right? As much as it gets hard sometimes, keep going. I always tell people you're not alone, keep going, because again, we have an expectation or a requirement or a thought of what we want our life to look like. And I think it's important that we do that. Those who vision board and manifest and sit and write your goals and your intentions and your resolutions, I think it is extremely important you do that, because that's, I mean, we, like, who doesn't want to dream and build a life for themselves, right? I just feel that sometimes we may be dreaming too small, and there's a bigger dream that's going to be achieved and accomplished, and we just don't see it yet. So when you talk about rock bottom, um, Where I am now and where I am a year ago, two different places, mentally and physically. Um, Over the course of last year, while I'm doing this and I'm smiling with you guys and I'm talking and I'm going through all of whatever, I've shared with you guys openly, I've had moments, right? There's a lot of times I felt like my life was, and I know I've said this, I'm pretty sure to Apple, I know I've said it to Olox, right? There's many times where I felt like my life was falling apart and coming together at the same time. So when you talk about rock bottom, that is where I'm coming from, where I'm literally watching every pillar in my life fall apart in some way, shape, or form that I thought was stable and secure and was solid, literally crumble like a Thanos moment. At the same time, other things are building and layering. And that ties back to the comment when I said sometimes when you don't realize it, um, the piece you think you're looking for, there's a different piece that's coming. And that is where I am right now when I'm going through some of what I'm going through. And I'm sharing just to share, there's a lot more I can say and there's a lot deeper I can go, but I don't think I want to do that today. But as many times as you feel that you are in a rock bottom state, celebrate that state. And I know you're probably thinking, okay, she's drinking something other than water. I'm not. The only place you can go from that rock bottom state that you're in is up. And it doesn't matter if you feel like you're still falling, you're still climbing up. And that's the way you have to always look at it. When you're at rock bottom, great. Your feet are grounded. You're at rock bottom. Build, rebuild, refine, do whatever it is that you need to do. You just got to keep going. Let me scroll. Let me scroll. Let me scroll. Let me scroll. Um, you are in sync with the timer. See, I'm trying to make sure that you could just relax, enjoy the conversation, put your feet up. You know what I mean? Know what I mean? Um, yeah, you have to let go for new beginnings. Yeah, letting go for new beginnings. Yeah. Oh, Tasha BG. See, there you go. I think that's where I'm at, falling apart and coming together at the same time. Yeah, yeah. The only way is up. And it's not easy though, right? Like let's be honest here. Like I'm saying it and I know what I've been through over the last year and I've had a lot of high moments. Like this is not a, oh, I was, I'm going through the roughest part of my life. I've had rougher parts of my life that I've overcome, so I know it's possible. But at the same time, I did at this point in my life, I did not expect to be. Mistake, right? Why did I not expect to? What was I envisioning? Did I actually do what I needed to do to put me in the position that I wanted to be in? Honestly, for me, I didn't. I was going with the flow of life and assuming that life would continue to roll in the direction I wanted it to go when I wasn't necessarily navigating my own ship for it to go in that direction. So when it doesn't go in that direction, who do I have to blame? I can blame all of the outside forces and people, but at the end of the day, I have to still take accountability on myself on how diligent was I in making things happen the way I thought I wanted them to happen. And did I take into account that there's going to be obstacles and prepare for them, right? Because we can't expect it to be cotton candy clouds and skittle rainbows. As much as I would like that to be the case, that's not life, right? It's just, and that's the reality of it. Um, Learning to be content in whatever state I'm in. Yes. And I think it was two streams ago, somebody had mentioned, being able to find peace. And I always say that you can find peace even amongst the chaos, right? I know I talked about that in my podcast lightly, but I find that more like there's never going to be, I'm in 24/7 state of peace. And I don't want to be, because how will I know I'm at peace if I don't have those challenges or obstacles or rough patches that I know this is what that looks like. I want to get back over there. How do I get there? Right. So do I want to be at peace 24/7? No. Do I want to be happy all the time? No. But I do want to be content. I want to know that there's an underlining level of content that is there. So if I do have an unpleasant experience that takes me out of my peaceful state, I have the clarity to figure out how to navigate my way back to the peace that I know I want to live and reside in. Again, and I'm just tripping and learning along the way, right? Like that's all you have to do. Um, Tuning your generational trauma thing is really, yeah, 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 yeah. Sorry, let me scroll. Accountability, yeah, and acceptance. So let me put this up here. So we have accountability, right? Accountability, acceptance. Yeah, and I will say for me, just talking a little bit more, and it's Tooney's comment that has me really thinking, and I'm sorry, it threw me off in a good way because I'm at a good place with it. I'm learning to let go, and I'm still going through the grief and the contentment of knowing that I've let go and I've done it for the right reasons without any animosity or anger, right? But it's still something to be accountable. And I think a lot of times, especially when you're dealing with our elders, there's an inability for them to be accountable for what they may have done that could have contributed to situations or whatever that has put the, I'm going to say, the relationship at a strain, right? And until you can take proper accountability on all sides, right? You really don't get to heal properly or move on. So you just have to figure out, how do you take your own accountability and forgive yourself if you need to, however you need to, and accept that the other folks are not there yet. You hope they'll get there, and you make peace with the fact that maybe they won't. You let go and you release that because you still have to live your life. And you can't live your life continually wishing that, uncle so and so, auntie so and so, your mom, your dad, your sister, whatever, did this or can understand where you're coming from to do better. You just have to move forward. And if the time comes that they are going through their own healing journey and they realize that they are accountable for something and they come back to you, and hopefully that time is not lost and you can still figure out how to, have those quality years together. We're all getting older. We're not getting any younger. There's no Benjamin Button thing that's happening for any of us, right? So time is like that rare commodity. You hear me say it all the time. Time and energy is non-refundable. So to spend the time holding on to something when you can release it so you can spend the time on other things you can while you can, that has to be the mindset that you have in there somewhere. It's got to be in there somewhere. And it doesn't make it easy, but you just have to kind of figure it out and put the next foot forward. Also accepting that things won't go the way you want it to go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I find that I have an idea of how I think things should go. And when it's not going that way, I get frustrated. And we're all like that, right? I am slowly learning to have that acceptance that it's not going the way I want it to go. I need it to go. I would like it to go, and be okay with that. And then trust wherever that it is, it's in a healthy place for you, right? Whether it's where you live, the job, the girl, the boy, the dog, the cat, the budgie, whatever, right? There's so like it's a state of mind that is applicable to any situation that you are talking about right now. Don't look for it, challenges will come. Miriam. Sometimes you have to welcome the challenges though. Not like I'm not saying like wait for the, for the absolute torrential something to come and hit and cluster poop your life, but you have to, it's coming. It's not a matter on if, it's a matter of when. And if you have the mentality that it's not a if, it's a when, you can't look over your shoulder every minute waiting for it to happen, but you can know that you're building yourself in a solid state that when it does happen, that your foundation is solid mentally, physically, everything. So whenever it comes, whatever it is, you can navigate your way through it, right? But if you're not in a solid state, then it just keeps feeling like you're never getting through this scenario or that scenario because you keep getting hit with something. But sometimes you have to remember that you have to live through it, right? Just you have to live through it. Avoiding it, trust me, avoiding it does not make it any better. It makes it 1,000 times worse, and then some, 1,000 times worse. Ladies, these words are powerful. Yeah, we're all spitting some gems up in here. Like, I'm really enjoying this conversation because I always say it, I call you guys the collective because I feel that we are a collective of minds that are in various parts of our life right now, but we have the common theme of we're trying to explore it. Sometimes we're not even trying to explore it, but life is making us explore it, but we're doing it together, right? So I may be, 20 steps back from somebody else that's 20 steps forward, but at the end of the day, the words that are being shared amongst us, it's nurturing me and it's helping me grow. And I can only hope that it's helping you grow as well. It's helping you heal, right? I say healing is a forever journey. It does not go away because something else is going to come along the way, Miriam, right? Something else will come along the way and kick our shin, kick our ankles, stub our pinky toe, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to have to navigate through that again. But if you get through this thing, when that thing comes up, it's going to be hard, but it gets a little bit easier because you know what coping mechanisms you have in place to help you work through it and not try to avoid it or not have it take full control of what you're going through. And there's a lot of days it's going to feel like that. I know that firsthand. I definitely know that firsthand. And that's why I always come back to taking a moment, right? I forgot I actually had that. I had that. Yeah, I forgot I had that emote. I don't use that often anymore. Yeah. I'm re-examining my life through new lenses and it's scary. Toonie, since I did the first Behind My Smile, I have been doing so in a really, I'm going to say sometimes terrifying manner. And I say that because I am publicly sharing my life. And I may not be going into all the layers of, names and who and where and what and whatever, but I'm giving a lot of what I normally would never share with anybody, even the closest of people around me. And I'm doing it because I'm actually enjoying the experience. And I'm proud of the accomplishment that I've done to date. Even if it's just recognizing something and I haven't even worked on it yet, it's still just knowing that I was able to recognize that. And I know there's folks I talk to and I'm always like saying that, like, you're not in a good place right now, but you recognize that, right? Instead of I'm not in a good place and I'm lashing out at everybody around me and they're all like wondering what the hell's wrong with Tap. I'm not in a good place right now. I'm going to either self-isolate or I just let people know I'm not my best right now. So, if I say something or do something, you understand why, but I'm working through it, right? And I think a lot of times I know I've had my temper tantrums around people, and they weren't intentionally to receive it, but I didn't know how else to release it, and that's stuff that I'm learning as well. Yeah. Could it be guilt on their end? That's interesting because I've thought about that I'll say for my scenario. There's a specific scenario that I'm talking about when I'm saying this right now. And it ties to everything that Toonie's talking about, right? And I'm referring to it as an elder because it's not my dad. My dad passed away many years ago. We had a good relationship, so I can't go from there. But it's an elder in my family. And I've always had this thing where I was raised to respect your elders. We've all been raised that way, right? So you don't want to go to battle with your elder, but you're trying to help them understand where you are and hoping that it can help them. We talk about generational curses. I think I mentioned that 2 or 3 streams ago, right? Generational curses, childhood trauma, shadow work. That's all stuff that many of us are putting ourselves through. And that's a lot of stuff that many people will not touch because it's too painful for them to go through it, or they don't feel that it's something that they're going to be able to make a change. Just the fact that you're putting yourself through it, you're making the change. You're trying to break the cycle and not pass it on to the next generation, right? And it doesn't have to be directly your own kids either. It could still be within the family, right? And the family doesn't have to be just blood. It is the family. And I think when people start realizing that you do that work for that reason, it's not always just for yourself. It should never just be because you're doing it for yourself. You want to know, yes, you're doing it for yourself to make yourself a better person, but you're helping other people, right? Especially when you talk about the generational stuff. So guilt, yeah. You typed pride there, Tasha BG, and I'm going to say and pride, and I get it. Elders are not necessarily understanding that they can understand that the young folk do have some knowledge. They're always quick to dismiss us. But again, that's a generational pattern, right? Whatever you ask to learn or feel, sometimes if we are not seeing what it is you want to learn or see, we end up in a position that makes or forces us to have that experience. And that is when you go through that repeated rock bottom, because you have this vision of what it's supposed to look like and it's not happening, and everything is happening, and you're just like, oh, and this happened, oh, and that happened, and oh, and this happened, and oh, my life is horrible, and this, that. Like, you're going through this whole thing, and I may not have been to that extreme, but enough to know that I should recognize that there's a bigger plan at play, and to embrace it. and I just couldn't get there for a long time. And it's doing this and what I write in my journal and what I do on the side when I'm not on the camera and a lot of snot nose crying. Um, it's gotten me through. So when I say that last year was probably the biggest year for me, I will always remember how much I have grown. And I've grown to the point that I'm still learning, but I'm not letting what I've learned crumble me. I'm growing from what I've learned. And sometimes what I've learned is not good. It's not like, like Tuni, you said, like it's scary. Yeah, it is scary. I've learned some stuff about myself that I'm not okay with. And it's stuff that I've known for a long time. So it's not like it's necessarily new, but now I'm learning from it I'm seeing it from a lens and learning from a lens that's allowing me to do something with it as opposed to just shove it under the rug and just be like, yeah, but that's just, it's just me, or it's just that, or it's this person's fault. And that's the hard part, that accountability piece, right? I'm going to scroll for a little bit more and then I'm going to want to, one of my favorites is Benjamin Button. Yeah, it's mine too, actually. Yeah. Yeah. I prayed to be strong for for strength, not realizing I was already strong. I ended up in a position that forced me to see my strength. Exactly that. T.E. Dennis, exactly that. Right? Um, the scenario that we go through isn't pleasant, right? And I just had a conversation similar earlier, right? The scenario that we go through is not a pleasant one. And we don't want to celebrate that we survived it or we made it through, but we have to celebrate the fact that you did make it through no matter how horrible the scenario was, because you found the strength, right? The endurance, the confidence, the fear was not choke holding you from being able to move forward, whatever those scenarios are. And a lot of times we don't recognize it. I always say there's a lesson there's a lesson and a blessing in every experience. And it doesn't always look good. It really doesn't always look good. um I'm ready. I'm ready, but I'm not looking for it. Yeah. Miriam. So your adventurous personality, Miriam, is equivalent to me always just going with the flow. And I just had this conversation recently too. And I talk about flow a lot. Flow for me is a thing. Like it really is a thing. It's a flow of energy and whatever. But I've spent what I thought I was going with the flow by just floating. I wasn't navigating my own ship. I wasn't thinking about whatever. I was just going with the flow of what life was throwing at me, as opposed to stopping and taking a moment of saying, but is this really what I want? Um, because everything always sorts itself out in the end, which it really does. But did I have to take the long path, or could I have taken the shorter path? Or would it be better to take the long path as opposed to trying to take the shorter path to get there sooner, right? So there's some of those moments that I'm still growing through. Um, and each day that I am able to recognize that I'm a little bit ahead than I was the day before, even if it meant that I had to take 10 steps back, I'm still going to celebrate that, because I recognize that I still had something to do to be able to move forward. And by recognizing that and taking those 10 steps back, you are actually moving the 10 steps forward, because now you're moving from a base of solid state clarity that you can clearly see what you need to do instead of fumbling your way forward, and then realizing that you're now 20 steps back because you didn't stop and do the thing you needed to do, right? I'm going to scroll and find some more comments, and I'm really behind on comments, and I apologize. And then I am going to wrap this up. It's a Sunday night. I want to be respectful to folks. I know you guys got work tomorrow. I still got one more day, so I'm going to go vacation again on the couch that's not in my house and enjoy before I have to come back to my life here. I feel like once we release, new challenges arrive. Yeah, Miriam, that's the most important piece, right? Not knowing our strengths until we are challenged. Yeah. Yeah. I know for me, and I know for some of you, right? Let me hydrate. For me, a lot of my recognition and my realizing on strength has been around my health. And I was not pleasant about all of the health stuff that I've been dealing with for the past 2 years, but I'm getting better. And I know I still have a lot of work to do. And then another area I'll say for sure is relationships with people in my life. When I mentioned it earlier, when all of the pillars around you are crumbling and you start to feel like you have absolutely nobody, like nobody that is there for you, It is when you realize who actually is there for you, and you realize that you are capable and able to carry yourself and not have to rely on anybody to do anything for you, to be there for you, to air for you, or whatever, right? um, you realize just how strong you really are. And you realize just how dynamic you really are. And you realize how much you should celebrate who you are, regardless of people, place, or thing that is happening against you, right? Um, this comment. Yeah. We have to release and let it go. So, all of this conversation that we're saying right now and everything that we are doing for ourselves in 2024, as you put your head on the pillow tonight, um, just remember you don't have to have it all figured out, right? We're having this conversation right now. I think it's going to take me quite some time to figure out what else I need to let go of in order to let new in and go through the journey of what does letting go look like. It's one thing to just say, oh, I need to let go of blah, right? There's a process behind that, and that is the hard part. Saying it is one thing. It's awesome when you can say it. When you need to now execute it, because everything is going to be clinging on, saying, wait, don't cut me, don't get rid of me, like hold on to me, right? And it could be emotion, it could be a person, it could be a thing, a clothing, whatever you want to call it. There's all this stuff that comes up that's trying to say, well, no, not yet. Like, what are you doing? You can't get rid of me just yet. And it's working through that, right? And T.E. Dennis, you mentioned it earlier, when the emotion leaves you, then you know it's no longer. I still work through that. And sometimes, like, I want to know that if I let something go or someone go, I can do so and still smile in the moments that were shared, right? The moments that I shared with the item that I did, that I tossed, or the person that it's with, right? The girl, the boy, the whatever, right? The coworker, the person down the street, right? It's not always about a romantic relationship. Um, Figuring out what you need to release and letting go of what you need to release is a process that needs to happen at a pace that works for you. Doesn't matter what's written in a textbook, doesn't matter what we say here tonight. I'm just going to say to you, pace yourself, because you can do more damage than needed if you try to rush and do something. Um, Thank you for the gifted to Tasha BG. Apple Blossom. Tasha, welcome to the collective. Um, hmm. Sorry. Yeah, my brain is in like a whole thought right about now. I'm going to scroll and find the last couple of comments, and then I'm going to wrap this up. Apple, I'm going to see if I know somewhere to go. 1 minute. I need to refresh my screen because I'm not sure who is still on. Um, I want to say thank you as well. I know I don't say it enough. Um, we're gonna go to Snakey the Legend tonight if he's still on when we go to Raid Out, okay, Apple? Um, the fact that we come here, and I say this all the time, right? The fact that we show up here, we come to Twitch when we all came to Twitch for the music. The fact that we come here, you show up here at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock right now on a Sunday night to sit there and talk about life. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate the fact that you are doing this for yourself. I appreciate the fact that you come here and you do this with me. You could be anywhere else in Twitch right now, or at home on the couch getting ready for work tomorrow. And the fact that you're here and we're talking about this, I really, really appreciate it. And to start 2024 with the mindset of what we're going to continue to do for ourselves and take it at our own pace is also a beautiful thing. So again, I'm going to scroll through some more comments. If I've missed your comment, I apologize. Yeah, Toonie. Everything that you have typed in here right now, I have to say, is very much well timed and very applicable and very, 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 very personal to a situation I am literally just closed the book on with an elder. And it was hard to finally get to that point because I've pretty much been at battle for my entire life. And I just said, I'm done. And I can do so. But now, as I said earlier, which is why I'm saying what I'm saying, right? I've accepted, I've released, I've officially let go, but now I still have to go through that process. And sometimes the letting go process is probably more painful than the entire experience. Just for me, for me. So thank you. It's nice to know when you feel like somebody else is going through something. It doesn't always have to be pleasant, but you just know you're not alone. So thank you. And I'm sending you love and hope and strength that you are able to have whatever interactions you need to have to get the resolution that you need to help it stop at you and not continue to the next generation. From the soul, I say that. Um, I'm reading your comments and you guys are going to make me cry. I've learned over time that a lot of our elders don't have the emotional intelligence to understand certain things and as such are incapable of seeing the errors in their ways. Sometimes as frustrating as it is, you have to just give them grace and not waste time trying to explain yourself to people who are set on not trying to understand you. It's draining. It is. What adds to that for me is when you feel or you've been told that you are cause and blame for stuff that is not within your domain of accountability, and you're trying to have the conversation to explain the why, and then it seems like you're being disrespectful to explain yourself, right? Just yeah. So um yeah, yeah, that exposed myself to myself. I was trying to skip over that, but now that apple's actually, yeah, expose myself to myself. It's Apple is scary. And I know Toonie, you're saying it, and I know we've all experienced it in some way, shape, or form. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing here today, and when we're off screen and in our journals and all that, and living life, right? When you stand in front of a mirror, and I know that people talk about that mirror work as well, right? When you stand in front of a mirror and really examine yourself, and this is not, what's sagging or popped up or prime or whatever. This isn't about the physical appearance. When you look into your own eyes in the mirror and have a conversation with yourself, some of the stuff that comes up, yeah, that tips into some serious shadow work. And I definitely will not touch that at this point of the time of the conversation, because that's some deep, intense stuff. And I know that I'm not qualified to address that, but I know that it's a necessary conversation. Um, have you ever read The Alchemist? I'm looking to see if I can actually grab it. So yeah, I have. So my daughter has read it in school, and she has like 350 million tabs along the side. When you pick up the book, all you see is tabs. I don't like to underline and highlight in my books anymore because I find it distracts me, because then I go to the highlight and I can learn something new. So I've been doing what she has taught me, and is just putting highlights. So I've read it before. Apple has recently read it, I believe. I know I'm speaking for her. She's probably already said that in the chat. I do plan to read it again for 2024. If there's ever a time that somebody wants to read it again, let me know. I wouldn't mind doing it as a reading buddy situation. I know we talked about a book club, and book clubs are, I'm thinking about how does that actually make sense and do it with the audience that's here. Um, every time I read that book, I learn something new about myself, and I learn something new about life. So yeah, if you would love to read it again, let me know. Anybody else who would love to read The Alchemist again, let me know. If you haven't read it before and it's on your list of things to read, let me know. Drop me an Instagram or a whisper or whatever and let me know. And maybe that's something we could do for February or March. I know for January, I'm all about my journal. I'm still doing my brain dump. I do not have my life sorted for 2024 yet, and I'm very much okay with that. I want to continue doing the brain dump. I want it to marinate for a bit, and then I want to go back to it, look at it, and start to figure out what is actually achievable, right? And what do I need to let go of? Because this mindset that I'm going to get all of this stuff done in the next couple of months is unrealistic. I need to let that go as well. So I'm going to every time I go to wrap this up, somebody else drops a comment in here. I'm just like, and this comment, and that comment, and this comment, and that comment. Apple, if you can throw the raid message out there. You guys have me really, really emotional right about now. Yeah, 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 yeah. I gotta get off of this camera because I know I'm gonna ugly cry soon. Um, Italian gal, and there's the person that's gonna make me cry. Italian gal, can I have your puppy, please? Italian gal, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. I think you're 2 hours behind, so it's still early for you. I hope you've had dinner. Yes, I'm being that parent right now. Sending you love, sending you light, and thank you for being here. I appreciate you for being here. Yeah, the peace. Tasha BG, that's what I want to get to. And you know what? And my daughter said I'm naive, and she's so right. Um, if I see that you have like a sliver of goodness in you, of niceness or whatever, all of the bad, it just goes away for me. I am banking on that little sliver is going to grow. And for some reason, a lot of our elders are incapable of being that. And it really is generational. It's like yeah, I'm hydrating. I'm hydrating. I'm hydrating. I'm hydrating. I have to remember, Tasha BG, when you talk about the being at peace now, the generations before us did not have the wisdom to understand how to emotionally handle things, right? And this is not just about a West Indian culture. Somebody's cooking something that is foul right now. Whoa. Um, Regardless of culture, there's something about the older generation that are so set in their ways that they refuse to see that there's an alternative way. And for me, I've taken a very different approach. And a lot of that is because of how I interacted with my dad, who is not perfect. But how he interacted with me is how I interact with my daughter. And that's me changing the generational pattern. Um, but I really would love to know that our elders can sleep at peace when their time comes, knowing that they have evolved to where they're supposed to evolve to. Just some of them won't. And that's just where it's got to get to. So I am going to not talk anymore because I'm pretty sure that my throat is saying we done here. Those of you who are interested in The Alchemist, drop me a line and let me know. Um, February? I think February. Yeah, yeah, I think February. February. Is Snakey still on? He's still on, right? So February for The Alchemist. I'm gonna target that. That will be the unofficial official book club. I'll post more about that on my Instagram. If you're not already doing so, tap the soul. Born for Music Raid. I know. Still follow the page. There's always stuff that's gonna be posted on there. Um, and I had this up before. Let me talk about it again. Those of you who don't already know, I have a podcast officially on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts called Soul Bites, your weekly snack from Tap. I have another one coming. It probably would have been tonight, but with the coughing I'm doing, probably won't be tonight. So it'll probably be tomorrow. And it probably will be more frequently than weekly. But at least once a week, there will be a podcast posted from me, a soul bite, a snack to stimulate thought. I will not be here on Wednesday. I have a personal engagement and I will not be online. I am back to work on Tuesday. 2024. Whether you make resolutions, you're writing in a journal, you have intentions, you have goals, go at your own pace. Do not rush it through. The year just started, so if you're using January 1 as your marker, yeah, you fall off the wagon already. That's fine. Get back up tomorrow. That's it. That's all there is to it. On that lovely note, I want to thank every single one of you for being here. I am going to stop talking. Apple, if you can ignite the raid, that would be great. Um, None of us are alone. And if you ever feel like you are alone, and I'm saying this to whoever is here listening or typing, if you ever feel like you are alone, send me a message. I'm not always swift to reply. I don't care. Send me a message. just remember you are not alone. And if you have other people here that you talk to, reach out to your people and let them know that you're not okay. Okay? Just release and let it go. I will see you all in the Twitch streets, hopefully somewhere. And I will be back here next week, Sunday. Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and send me a message if you need a voice from me to you to help, to support, to talk to listen. Peace, love, and blessings.